this shows you how early it is. Look how dark it is. But look who's driving. Oh, you can't even see him. He's driving the clown car, as he says.
Exactly.
He's got to get all situated. But it's early. Like I told you, the middle of the night. We're on our way to Jim's heart lung scan. Really early. Way, way too early. So, I will keep you with us today. See you soon. Well, look what Jim bought me. New windshield wiper blades. You know why? Because we had to use the clown car today to go to his appointment, and he got to see exactly what I was talking about. So guess what? New wiper blades. Now the test. How do they work? Look at this. Oh, and you can hardly hear them. Although, you know what? It's still streaking on that side.
It's got to get broken.
I guess. Well, good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 3rd, and we have some birthdays today. Today is Amy Green's birthday, so Amy, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Yen Oak's birthday, so Yen, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Yen. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Sophia Kitchen. Sophia, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sophia. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. And it's also Candace Stevens' birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Candace. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope all four of you have a great birthday, but we also have a really big anniversary because today is Denise and Matt's 50th anniversary. 50 years. Half a century. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Happy, 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 happy anniversary. Happy, 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 happy anniversary. Well, I hope you have a great anniversary. 50 years. Pretty darn good. Oh, as you could see, it was dark when I left this morning. I forgot to show you. I did finish a bottle of water already. I forgot to show it to you, but I did. I drank a bottle of water, and then we got up early. Jim just wouldn't believe me. I told him, they said they had to be there half an hour early to check in. I checked in online. I told them we didn't have to be there early. We did not have to be there early because we checked in online. And you know what? When we got there, they go, oh, you checked in online. You don't need to be doing this. Oh, that man of mine. When will he listen? But anyway, what was nice about it is when we got back there to the scan area, to the, whatever, the scan area. I guess the laboratory or whatever, whenever it was. Well, we got back there, they took them right in. So it kind of paid in our favor. It really did kind of pay in our favor. And then we were in and out of there within 15 minutes. It was like, quick. And they said that he said you could look at your Beaumont chart in 3 days to see it. Because that's where we can see our medical results. I'm not going to be able to interpret it unless there's something really bad, but then even then I don't know that I will. But the doctor will call and let us know. And then I made an appointment with the foot doctor because I think I have an ingrown toenail on my big toe that is really bothering me. And I've tried to, I know, gross, but I tried to take care of it myself. And I think I made matters worse. I really do. I don't go to, what do you call it? I don't even know. A manicurist to get a mani-pedi. It bothers me enough that the foot doctor is going to touch my feet. That bothers me. I mean, he has gloves on and everything, but it's like, oh, you're touching someone's feet. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how they can do that. I'm telling you, I got to be good on this earth, or that's what I'm going to come back as a foot doctor. No, that's not going to happen. But I'm not going to show you my food today, only because I forgot to show you my breakfast, because Jim said, let's go out to breakfast. And so I said, okay. So I sat down, and he says, where do you want to go? Well, you know where I wanted to go? I wanted to go to the pancake house so I could get pancakes and chocolate milk and sausage. But I said, no, you pick where you want to go. Hoping that he wouldn't pick. In a way, I was hoping he'd pick the pancake house. But I thought, no, I'm going to be good. And so he picked to his one of his favorite breakfast restaurants, Ted's Coney Island, that's over in New Haven, which is not that far from us. And because he goes there with his buddies, they meet for breakfast there a lot. And I mean, it's a Coney Island breakfast, so you can't go wrong with a Coney Island breakfast. But I ordered a half order of French toast, and I used 2 of the little packets of butter, which I think they're only teaspoons. I don't think those are tablespoons of butter. And I had a glass of milk. So I had 4 halves, which is like 2 pieces of bread, with a little bit of butter and a tad, maybe a tablespoon of syrup. Because the reason I didn't have more syrup is like when I went to, like they have the little, like that, a little container, and then they push the little button and then you pour it and then the syrup comes out. The lid was glued shut from the syrup. So I'm thinking, you haven't used this syrup in a while. So whatever came out that little bit is all I had. So I'm feeling pretty full with that. And then tomorrow I go to Weight Watchers. I did check with Birdie. I told you I thought she was going to quit. No, she's going. She says, it's your turn to drive. Come and pick me up. And I said, I'll be there. So I'm going to go pick her up tomorrow morning, and we're going to go to our meeting. She's going to try to book get on the same cruise. I don't know if there's going to be any openings yet, because we booked that way back, I don't know, at the end of November, beginning of December. So I don't know if there's any slots still open, but she's going to try. So I'm going to help her do that after the meeting. We're going to go back to her house. And then just really kind of rein in my portions. I went to bed. I thought, I'm going to go to bed early because I got to get up early. I had to get up at 7:30, middle of the night, mind you. So I thought, I'm going to go to bed early. So I went to bed. You're not going to think it's early, but it was early for me. I went to bed at 1:15. And I got in bed and I fell immediately to sleep, which I was shocked, because usually if I go to bed a little bit before I usually normally go to bed, I don't fall asleep right away. And I fell immediately to sleep, only to be awakened 25 minutes later with Jim having a nightmare, screaming, scared the crap out of me. And I had to shake him, but he didn't wake up, but I shook him enough that he stopped having that dream. And then I couldn't get back to sleep. And I kept thinking, should I get up or should I not get up? And should I get up or should I not get up? And then I looked at the clock and it was 2:30, and I thought, I shouldn't get up now because Mr. Gary, Denise's husband, is so afraid he's making noise. I don't even hear the man. And it's scary. It's scary to think that somebody could be walking around in my kitchen, making their breakfast, getting their lunch, doing all that good stuff, and I don't hear a thing. I pride myself on being able to hear noises. But I think the fact that I know that he's going to be up, that I don't have to worry about it, because I'm one of these people that if I hear a noise in the night, I wake up, and I identify the noise. As soon as I can identify the noise, I can roll right over and go back to sleep. Now, if I can't identify the noise, then Jim's going to get woke up because he's going to go research the noise that I heard. But for the most part, I'm pretty, like when my kids went out, I could go to bed and then I'd hear the key in the door. So they could never sneak in because I would hear the key in the door. Although Jimmy was pretty conniving. He thought that he was getting away with something, but like he had a half-assed plan, because we had a pool and we didn't have a deck. We just had a pool ladder. And his bedroom was on the second floor. And then we had like a little awning over our deck. And what he would do is he'd push the ladder up to the awning, and then he'd climb up the ladder up to the awning and go in through his bedroom window. So he thought I didn't know. Okay, the smarter person would have came downstairs and moved the ladder back. No, not Jimmy. He left the ladder there. So when I got up in the morning and saw the ladder there, it didn't take much to deduce that Jimmy came in late and climbed in through the bedroom window with the ladder. But Jimmy gave me a run for my money, let me tell you. But he's the best son ever. So is Danny. And Christy's the best daughter. I can't ask for better kids. I think I raised some pretty good kids. I mean, they went through their issues. They really did. Because it was funny, because we were having dinner one time, and Christy was all upset because she was getting a ticket. She had to go to court because she had a ticket. And she was like really upset that she had to go to court. And Jimmy and Danny were making fun of them. And so was Jim. Making fun of her. Oh, you got to go to court, and all that. And I kind of don't. There's not one person at this table that's not spent a day in jail. So I don't want to hear a thing about it. And then they all shut up real quick and they go, oh my gosh, she's right. We have. Because Jimmy was in jail for stealing when he was working. When he worked at Montgomery Ward's, he needed $10 for lunch. And so he thought he'd just borrow it, because he was going to pay it back, but he borrowed it from the till, and security caught him, and I was mortified. I was mortified. And I remember that I didn't work that day, that because Jimmy worked at Montgomery Ward's when I worked at Montgomery Ward's, and they arrested him, and they brought him to the police station, and my mother went and got him, bailed him out. And I remember that my sisters Denise, Mary, and Sue and I had gone to the show, and I have had quite a temper with Jimmy, because Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy was Jimmy. And when I got home, my mother come out of the house to meet us at the curb where we were parking the car. And she said to my sisters, go in the house and lock the door and don't let Sandy in. And I went, oh, Mom, you're so funny. You're so funny. And I'm serious. Go in the house, lock the door, and don't let her in. And I go, what's up, Mom? What's going on? And then she told me, I went, back when I could run, I went running to the door, and my sisters are there. Mom said, don't open the door. Mom said, don't open the door. I was so mad. So my mom said, Jimmy's going to stay here for a couple days. You just need to go home and cool off, because, it wasn't major. It was just $10. We paid it back, la, 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 and all that. But I was mortified that people that I knew, my son was a thief at the store that we worked at. And I couldn't bear it. I just really couldn't bear it. So I went into there was a back way to get in to go to the store manager's office. I went in through the back door, and I climbed up the back, not climbed up, but I went up the back stairway, because there was an employee stairway. And I went to the back stairway, and went up and talked to the manager. And I told him, I'm going to quit. I can't face these people. This is too humiliating and embarrassing to think that my son was a thief. I can't bear the thought of them thinking less of me. And his name was Mr. Stearns. I always remember that. And he said, do you have friends here, Sandy? And I said, yes, I think I do have friends. He says, and you really think they're going to judge you? And I go, well, I don't know. It's hard, because it's easy to say that you're not going to do something, but then put in that position, what are you going to do? And he says, well, aren't you supposed to go on vacation? And I said, well, yeah, I'm supposed to start my vacation the day after tomorrow. But, I'm going to quit today. I'm just going to put my notice in now. He says, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go on your vacation in 2 days? I know you're scheduled to work tonight and tomorrow morning. Take those days off. I'm going to pay you for it. Take your 2-week vacation. Come back. Then you're going to see who your real friends are. And I says, are you sure? And he says, I am positive. You're going to come back, and it'll all blow over by then. And the people that are going to judge you weren't your friends in the first place. And you know what? He was right, because my friends that I thought were my friends joked about it. And because they know that's what I do. They'd say, where's my purse? Is Jimmy around? And I took that with the humor, not like they were being mean, because they know that's who I am. They just know who I am. But other than that, that's Jimmy one time. But, I guess once was enough. And then with Danny, he had bought a car from Denise's best friend, who was a police officer for the Detroit Police Department. No, the Clinton Township. I take that back. Clinton Township Police Department. And he had bought the car from them. It was a Mustang. It was a really nice Mustang. And his friends had convinced him to go and play mailbox tag, which, if you're not familiar with mailbox tags, was somebody drives and then somebody hangs out the window with a baseball bat and then knocks down all the mailboxes. Somebody knocked down my mailbox that night. Jimmy, to this day, says that Danny's friends did it. Danny says that he didn't, but it's just a little too coincidental that all of these mailboxes in my neighborhood got whacked down, and mine was included on that. But when the police officer came to the door, Danny didn't go to jail because the police officer knew him and knew he had just bought the car. That's how they knew, because of the description of the car, because it was a unique looking car. And so he gave him a warning, but he gave him a ticket, but he had to go to court. And so of the 4 boys that were in the car, the 3 of them acknowledged that they made the mistake when we were at court. But the 4th boy he was never allowed to come over to the house again. My philosophy with my children was, which is the same thing with my parents, is you could bring a friend over. My parents and even I was very cordial to them, very nice. Everything, you couldn't, sugar would have melted in my mouth. I was so nice to them. But when they left, it was made very clear, they will never step foot in this house again. You will never step foot over into their house. You will not hang out with them. But at the meantime, you're okay. But anyway, when we went to court, Danny and his 2 friends admitted their guilt and wrote letters of apology. And before we went to court, the one mother, the two other mothers, and myself, we got together and we had the boys go over to the house, dig up the old mailboxes because they were like, like dug into the ground, dig up the old mailboxes, pay for new mailboxes and put them in. So that kind of went well at the court. But this fourth kid, he didn't want to have anything to do with it. He just thought it was a teenage prank. His parents said it's just what teenagers do, blah, blah, blah. And he was very arrogant at the court. He was even more arrogant because the three of them just got off with a warning because they, kind of did their penance, so to speak. But he got a big fine. He got a really big fine. And then he went crazy and he was in contempt of court. And his parents went crazy because they thought it was unfair that the other three, because there was four in the car, and it was just a whole fiasco. It was just a whole fiasco. But needless to say, Danny never hung up with the kid again. I have no idea what ever happened to him. I'm sure he's sitting in some jail cell somewhere. I mean, he was a hoodlum. So he had gone to jail. Jim had gone to jail partly because of me, because my father used to do our taxes all the time, and we lived in the city of Detroit at the time. And my father could not stand the mayor of Detroit. He just could not stand him. And so when he was doing our taxes, and we were not working in the city, but in the city of Detroit, I don't know if it still is, but in the city of Detroit, it didn't matter where you worked, you had to pay taxes. And if you didn't work and you worked in the, if you lived in Clinton Township and you worked in the city, you still had to pay taxes. So at the time, we were living, were we living in Detroit? Yeah, we were still living in Detroit. And so, but Jim was working mostly outside of Detroit, but you still had to pay the city taxes. Well, my father, when he'd do our taxes, he'd always say, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So then we got a notice from the tax board that we had taxes due. Showed it to my dad, and he says, I'll take care of it. It's my dad. I'm going to believe him. No, he took care of it by ripping it up and throwing it in the basket. Until then, we got an issue for a warrant for our arrest. Both of us got an issue for a warrant for our arrest. And so then I said, Dad, this is serious now. He says, you don't have to worry. They always put those warrants out. You don't have to worry. Don't worry. So I remember I was working at Montgomery Ward's, and Jim was calling me. He had his one phone call, and he called me at work, and he says, well, that warrant we had out for our arrest? And I said, yeah. He says, it's legitimate. I'm in jail. You need to come and bail me out. Well, at the time, you could only draw so much out of the ATM, or at a time, and I think it was like $200. His bond was $500, and I couldn't come up with the other $500, so Jim had to spend the night in jail. Needless to say, he was not a happy camper, not in the least. And so then when we came up with the money to bond him out, he had said, well, whatever you do, don't you come, because there's a warrant out for your arrest, and we'll have to pay another $500 to get you out of the jail. But wait a minute, let me think about it. No, come on in there and say, you're proud to say that you're here to bail my husband out of jail because my father did the taxes, and I know I'm right, and you can't arrest me. I sent my brother Michael. He went and bailed Jim out. So needless to say, my family can't be judging on anybody that has ever been to court. Boy, I'm really long-winded today, aren't I? Anyway, I wanted to talk about portion control. I think that one of the things that's going to help me with my weight loss is my portion control. And I think eating the 3 meals, I've noticed I talked to the nutritionist about this yesterday, and I'll talk about that next week. I'll start on that series of doing that, because I did find her very interesting. But I was telling her that I'm eating 3 balanced meals, although I'm really not eating a lot of calories, but I have to tell you that I'm not hungry for food. But I told her I'm hungry. I'm still hungry. And she says, well, what are you hungry for? Why don't you have a piece of, like an apple or a piece of cheese or a hard-boiled egg or something? And I go, no, I think that if I had like a little piece of candy, just a little tiny little, like a Whitman sampler box. I got a Whitman sampler box for Christmas. Just one little square of candy, a little bit of chocolate. And she says, what you're doing is you're going through withdrawal from the sugar. And so the sugar is telling you that you're hungry. Because if you've eaten a well-balanced meal with protein and fibers and fruits and vegetables, and you were full when you finished it, that you should not be hungry half an hour later. And if you're hungry half an hour later, it's just because you're having some kind of a sweet craving. And so that's what I think. But she also shared this quote. I'm going to put it right here. from Orson Welles. It's one of my favorite quotes of Orson Welles. It's like, because it's so true. My portion sizes are huge that when I look at my plate sometimes, and I've had other people tell me, especially my salads or my vegetable platters and things like that. Is that, what do you call it? Charcuterie? Is that a charcuterie? No. I can't say that word. Charcuterie? Anyway, it's just a vegetable tray for everybody. Because it's like I put a lot of vegetable, and I always think it's the vegetables, and as long as I only use the 2 tablespoons of dip, what difference does it make? But it is, my portion sizes are out of control. And so I think that I'm finding that eating the 3 meals is making me recognize true hunger and what's a sugar hunger, because a lot of times it is just a sugar hunger that I'm having. And the thing with sugar is, like, they showed, like, if you had, which I'll talk about next week, but like the sugar gives your energy real high, but it doesn't stay there, and then it just crashes, and then you need another piece of sugar or something to, alleviate that problem. And I want to end that. I just really do. Now, I'm going to have sugar in my life. I'm going to have candy. I am going to have donuts. I'm going to have ice cream. I'm going to have all of that stuff, because like I told you the other day, there's no such thing as a bad food. But you can eat an excess of foods that makes them bad. So I have to learn in 24, which I told you I'm going to be accountable to myself. I'm going to be more accountable in my eating habits. And I'm finding the tracking to be a bit of a drudge, if I'm going to be honest. But I do also find that by doing it, I'm well aware of what I'm eating now. I'm much more aware of what I'm eating. And it's taken me time to figure it out before I sit down, because I do, even though I show you my food in my tracker second, I am tracking before I eat. And I track in my book, and I track on my phone, because I like to keep track of my points. I get 27 points because I put so much weight back on. I used to get 23. And for me, which just proves to me, because like yesterday I had 32 points, but I only had 1,200 calories. So I'm kind of balancing it between the two. I'm still following the Weight Watcher guidelines of 0 point foods and how many points are certain foods and stuff like that. Excuse me. But I'm also counting the calories, because sometimes you can eat like I could be like right on point with 27 points and probably only have 700 or 800 calories, which is not good for my body. I cannot afford to be losing muscle mass. And what happens if you don't eat enough, your body takes its nutrients from the cells and the food that you're sending, and if it's not doing that, it's going to eat away at your muscle. And that's the last thing I need at my age, is losing muscle. So I'm really watching my portion sizes and really making sure that I'm keeping everything under control. Today I plan on, like I said, I'm not going to show you my food, but I do plan on getting the rest of my Christmas decorations down. I kind of like my tree up. I think I'm going to leave it up till Saturday, which is the Epiphany. I usually don't keep it up that long, but I'm kind of liking it. I really am. And I'm kind of like downsizing as I'm going. I have so much stuff that I thought, well, I don't need this. It's not bringing me joy, as they say. So I'm trying to eliminate some things and reorganize my closets. I never found my birds. I have like 4 other birds that I don't know what happened to them. And I know I didn't throw them away. And they're not under the furniture, because I pulled the furniture out in here thinking, well, maybe they fell out of the closet and went under the couch or something. But yesterday when I was cleaning in here, I pulled everything out and it wasn't under there. So I don't know what happened with that. My backyard is done. Boy, they did that quick. They did that really quick. He came like at 10 o'clock in the morning. He went to lunch at 12. He was back at 1, and he was done by 3. It was like, it's a mud bath now. But after I get done babbling, I'll show you the clip of the before and after. It's just kind of strange to see my yard without a pool. Since I've lived here, I've had a pool in my backyard. It's just, I had a pool in my other yard too, at my other house. So it's just different. But at the LA Fitness, they have a pool, so I can go in the pool there. It's not the same, I understand, but I really didn't go in it that much this year. I think I went in it 3 or 4 times. But just the thought that it was there and I could go in when I wanted. But for the expense and everything, because it is quite expensive, I would start the season out spending at least $500 just on my chemicals for the summer. And then you got to pay the electric, and you got to clean the filters. You got to put the chemicals in like 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, it was a drudgery sometimes, but I'm going to miss it, though. I just know I'm going to miss it. At Denise's house, they're supposedly putting the flooring in this week. So now it's just like after they put the flooring, it's just the final little niches, you know, like a couple electrical things that they didn't put the right switches in that they have to switch out, and then like the shoe molding and stuff. So she's still thinking that she's going to close on the 11th, which is what, next week, next Friday, right? Today's the 3rd, 10th. No, next Thursday. She's thinking she's going to close next Thursday, but I don't know. We'll see. It'll be different not having her here. It really will. But I know she's anxious to get into her own home. I don't blame her, because I have the comforts of my own home, but, you know, this is like you're on a vacation, like in an Airbnb type of thing. I don't know. But so anyway, I'm going to spend Susan over at Sparkling Susan. I'm going to text her later on to let her know. But my exercise today is going to be putting the other closet, because I have 2 closets full of stuff, of Christmas stuff, and putting all that away. That's a lot of lifting and bending and all that stuff. So that's going to be my exercise for today. I used to have all this stuff in the basement, and after Thanksgiving dinner, my sons, Danny and Jimmy, used to bring them up. So then they loved it when Danny and Josh got old enough. Then they started bringing it up. And then one year I thought, you know, I don't use these closets for anything. They're completely empty. Why don't I just put them in here, and then they don't have to worry about trudging them up and down, which they wholeheartedly love. And I like it because then I can just do it at my own pace. And so that's what I do. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. Let me show you my backyard, the before and after pictures. And, oh, that was another thing I was going to tell you real quick. As you saw in the beginning, is I got my windshield wiper blades. And the only reason I got them, I really believe, is because Jim and I had gone out to breakfast afterwards, which I already told you that. But there, when we were there, sitting at the restaurant, all these police cars and ambulances, and everybody they were flying through there. And when we came out, we saw why. Because some car, I don't know how they did it, but it's like that main highway is mostly for big semi-trucks that are making their way to the expressway from the industrial center. And some car, littler than my clown car, as Jim calls it. I don't know how he did it, but he went under the truck. But at a spot that I don't understand how he went under it. It's not like the truck was going through the red light, or like he was turning in front of the red light. Or maybe he was going to turn and then he at the last minute saw the truck coming too fast. I don't know what, but his car was underneath the truck. So we couldn't get out that way, so we had to go through the parking lot, because that's how they were directing the traffic to go around the accident. And it was AutoZone. And so Jim pulled in and went and got me windshield wiper blades. And another thing is because it's raining, and so then he got to see what I was talking about, how my wipers are so bad and how they go, argh, 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 and drive you crazy. And then when he came out, I said, well, is that from household or is that a Christmas present? He says, it was a Christmas present, although I wouldn't have made it a Christmas present when I found out how much it was. $53. I said, well, Jim, why do you think I asked for it for Christmas? I don't like spending my money on that, or even household money on that, if somebody else could buy it for me. So now I have my new blades. I'm happy. But, okay, I will how did I end it yesterday? I know it was Nancy Who 52. I forgot to look at some other ones because I haven't answered my comments yet, but I will be doing that today. Until we chat again, I'll see you soon. Well, this was the view I had every morning when I opened up my blinds. This was before we tore down the pool that's been up since 2006. Okay, and this is the view of the outside before they start tearing it down. Watch where I'm walking. What we're going to do is take it down to that post right there. Leave that little bit of a runway for Jimmy to decide what he wants to do with it as far as a landing. I want to put some steps going down that way so that I can get to the yard either from that end or that end. So we'll see how that goes. But this is the way it looks. We didn't drain any water out of the pool. That's how much water we've left. We had it up to that point right there. Right there before it started leaking all the water out. So this is what my yard looks like at this point. And I'll show you it once it comes down. And so the demolition begins. There goes the deck. Coming out way easier than it went in, that's for sure. Oh well, we have to go to Jim's cardiac rehab. When we get back, I'll let you know how far they've gotten. Well, I guess it's not as easy as we thought. They're kept running into a little bit of difficulty there, but it'll be gone by the time we get back, I think. And just like that, the deck is gone. Jimmy's going to take the stones, so we got to dig those up still. They went for their lunch. And here is the big muddy mess. Look at it. Everywhere. Everywhere there's a mess. We'll see. Well, they took that a little farther than I thought they would, but it's going to be different. They're going to come in the spring and put the sod down. There we go. And this way. I'm just going to put some steps right there. But it's gone.